Paul, welcome to Louisville.
Good
Thanks so much for, first of all, writing your story and being here today as we film the storytellers in this fabulous warehouse that dates back into the 1800s. I thought it was the perfect setting to launch phase 2 of the Farris story, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, great to be here.
We're anxious to hear you talk about your story, your Farris story. I was fascinated by the size of your family.
Yep, I'm one of 12 children. I'm the 5th of 12, and
That's crazy.
it is crazy.
Yeah.
It was a great time growing up. And you know, the inspirational people in my family are my parents. You know, my mom was, there's probably not a more caring and giving and selfless person that ever walked the planet.
Wow.
You know, she'd get up every morning and shuffle a loaf of bread out on the table and make, 20 sandwiches for lunches, and she knew who liked mustard, who liked mayo, and she rarely screwed that up. And she just always did stuff for other people. She never did anything for herself.
Right.
You know, I used to think when I was younger, how can I repay my parents? How can I pay them back? And my mom said one time, she said, well, all you want to pay me back, all I want you to do is be a better parent than I was.
Wow. Wow.
And she was obviously an inspiration for not only myself, but the rest of the family as well.
Just having 12 kids alone and raising that, that's an inspiration itself.
Yeah. And then, my dad was the guy that had to make it all work, so he bounced around trying to find the right job. He's sold carpet cleaners door to door. He was a used car salesman.
Wow.
And he was making $100 a week with 10 kids driving a local delivery truck. So eventually him and 4 of his buddies decided to start their own business. And they each had to throw $1,000 into the kitty. Well, my dad didn't have $1,000, so he had to remortgage the house. And of course my mom was sick, to do that.
Right.
And so he put the money in the kitty, and they built their business based upon service. They would phone in or take an order over the phone and jump in the car, deliver the goods almost within 10 minutes of having the phone call.
What was the business?
It was a welding supply company.
Okay.
So they worked a lot with tool and die companies and things like that. So he would jump in the car, deliver the goods, and the reputation he built was around service.
Right.
And his motto for business and probably for life was real simple. It's like, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Seems pretty simple, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems simple, and I think it works in everybody's life, and certainly works in any business that you would get involved with.
Right. Well, Paul, let me ask you this. You're here because you wrote a Farris story, inspirational story. You talked about your father building the business and your 12 siblings, brothers and sisters. What did that mean to you to sit down in quiet time and think about and write something down about your mother and your father?
Well, of course, you kind of want to memorialize what they meant to you and things like that. But I think what to me was interesting about the whole concept of the Farris stories is it's kind of like when you read a book. The most interesting part of a book is when they kind of do the character build-up and they describe what this character's about and what their childhood was like, and then you start to understand why they are who they are in the book. So I think everybody has a story to tell. And so when I saw this idea of the Farris stories, I thought this is a perfect kind of thing. And I actually wait for the newsletter that you send out to see what the next Farris story is. So they're all interesting, I think, at some level.
Well, it's been, for me, it's been, very rewarding. I mean, we started at the cigar named after my grandmother, of course, Lois Farris, back in early August. And then we had this idea of inviting people to tell their story. Through this little project, we're causing people to, stop their lives and find a quiet time and write something, a tribute to somebody that's important in their life. Mm-hmm. And we don't know where this will go, but sometimes you start a journey and you don't know where you're going to end up, and you kind of do it on faith. And I think everyone involved, whether like yourself that have come to Louisville, or people who just simply written a story, they're all kind of feeling a part of something. And it's very exciting for us, and we're thrilled that you're here and love your story, and hope that you have another crazy Thanksgiving and Christmas with all those brothers and sisters.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, great.